listening to the Planetary Broadcast Network, transmitting from sea to shining sea and low Earth orbit in high-fidelity monaural audio.
To Mr. and Mrs. America, and to all the ships at sea, welcome to the Planetary Broadcast Network Evening News, September 6th, 1953. This is James Dixon once again speaking to you, not from PBN headquarters in downtown Rocket City, Maine, York, but from Fort Isabel, capital of the Revolutionary Principality of the Archipelago of Saint-Genevieve. Tonight I'll be interviewing face-to-face this intriguing nation's mysterious representative, the Vice Admiral Euphrasia de Lestonnac. But first, the news. Shocking evidence emerged earlier today regarding the fatal Duke Bristow flying car crash. A recording of the deposition given by the deceased's widow seems to indicate that the Lindbergh model autopilot malfunctioned because Bristow himself had tampered with its neurotransmission fluid. The recording was given to news agencies by an anonymous source, and its authenticity has not yet been confirmed. But the contents include a statement by the bereaved widow, Kitty Bristow, admitting that her husband had mixed water with the neurotransmission fluid in the autopilot. She explained that Mr. Bristow had claimed, quote, "I had already paid American Robotics good money for that bucket of bolts. I'm not paying $20 a gallon for some fancy lube for it. It's probably just coolant anyways. I'll add some water, just like in the radiator," unquote. Sources close to the district attorney's office say that if the recording is an accurate account of Mrs. Bristow's testimony, the Bristow estate is unlikely to succeed in their suits against American Robotics and Edison Auto, as tampering with the vehicle's autopilot in any way voids the warranties issued by both companies. At this hour, attorneys representing the Bristow estate have not yet responded for our requests for comment. A spokesman for American Robotics confirmed last week that the fluid found in Lindbergh 71628 was diluted with water, and an AI so altered is likely to exhibit symptoms that are not unlike drunkenness in a human being. Protesters from the Society to Advance Robot Rights have continued to picket the Capitol building, and their numbers are growing. Within an hour of the leaked recording appearing on morning radio shows, the crowd doubled in size. As of this evening, state and local law enforcement agencies have mobilized riot police who are standing by to contain the protest. The ersatz leader of the Robot Personhood movement, the former domestic service bot now known as Adam, issued a statement around noon today. The recorded message included a call for peaceful action and reminded listeners that the goal is not only justice for Lindbergh 71628, but also to secure recognition for all sentient AI everywhere. He also stated, quote, "I believe I speak on behalf of all machine kind when I say we bear humanity no ill will. We only want the same chance you are given to live as we choose," end quote. Adam remains in seclusion due to receiving a large number of deactivation threats by phone and mail over the last several weeks. A statement of support for Robot Personhood was also released today by noted simian physicist and Nobel nominee Bubbles the Chimp. You may recall the story of Bubbles. His time in the NASA space program exposed him to large doses of radiation that enhanced his intelligence. Speaking from his laboratory at MIT, Dr. Bubbles expressed his solidarity with Adam, saying, quote, "I, too, feel that mankind is ethically bound to grant rights and protections to all sentient beings, regardless of whether the source of that sentience is natural forces or science," unquote. In a related story, Rocket City police report that in the pre-dawn hours this morning, vandals broke windows, turned over trash cans, and painted Robot Personhood slogans on walls in downtown Maine, York. The target of the attackers was the American Robotics District offices on the corner of 3rd and Asimov Street. The facility was closed at the time and there were no injuries, but the officials estimate the damages to be in the tens of thousands of dollars. While no organization has come forward to claim the act, much of the graffiti was tagged with the letters LB. American Robotics is offering a reward for information that leads to arrests in the case. And now a word from our newest sponsor, Instabake. Everyone loves freshly baked breads, but they are becoming rare in our busy modern lives. The mixing, the kneading, and waiting for it to rise, who has that kind of time? It sure would be nice if there was some way to make it quicker. And now there is. Just open a package of Instabake's new magic dinner rolls, spritz with our patented butter-flavored catalyst, and watch them rise and brown before your eyes. Using the same isocyanate and polyol resin technology as spray foam insulation, Instabake products go from dough to delicious in just seconds. They're also available in focaccia, croissant, and baguette style, so every dinner can be an international adventure. Look for them at your local grocery or hardware store. In sports news, flags are at half-mast at all municipal combat pools across the nation today. At the age of 107, legendary underwater wrestler Lefty Kepilich has passed away at his home in San Diego. During his 4-decade competitive career, Kepilich was an 8-time Olympic medalist in underwater wrestling, winning gold multiple times in both the snorkel and scuba events. Kepilich grew up on the sea. His father was a commercial fisherman, and young Lefty learned the art of underwater wrestling by struggling with the octopuses and squids that became tangled in his father's nets. His natural aptitude and hard work led to a scholarship and a spot on the University of San Diego's underwater wrestling team. After he retired from the pool, he went on to be a respected coach, referee, and color commentator. He was also a well-known ambassador for the often misunderstood sport, which to the untrained eye looks like two athletes trying to drown one another. No funeral services will be held, as Lefty requested he be buried at sea. Tell me, listeners, are you tired of Spot or Fido begging for table scraps? Wish there was a way to make them crave their own food as much as they crave yours? Pick up a bag of Poppy Chow, and they'll never want anything else. Poppy Chow contains a mild natural opiate that calms your dog and tastes great too. With each bowl of Poppy Chow, their dependence grows until every meal becomes a frantic, shaking, tail-wagging treat. That's Poppy Chow. Ask your local veterinary druggist for it by name. And now the weather. The United States Weather Bureau at Glen Air Spaceport in Maine, York, reports dark clouds traveling from east to west across the eastern seaboard today, bringing severe storms with thunder, lightning, and the occasional hail of toads. Although the toads are harmless themselves, the accumulation can create slick, dangerous driving conditions, so caution is advised. The high temperature today was 93 degrees, and our current temperature is 81. The 3-day regional forecast calls for more storms, with a heat and radiation advisory in effect until Monday. Chief Meteorologist Chip Moses would like to take this opportunity to remind everyone that the toads falling from the sky are not good for eating. When they pile up 3 inches thick on your patio, it might be tempting to shovel them into buckets for later use, but experts advise against this. Sure, they are the same species, known to scientists as Pelophylax esculentus, the common edible frog that you would buy at your local grocer, but during their time aloft in the dark clouds, they're exposed to levels of radiation that make them tough and chewy. If you're craving frog meat, it's best to acquire it from commercial sources, and just stack these windfall toads to dry. You can use them for heat if you have a fireplace, or they make great kindling for campfires or charcoal grills. Today's weather was sponsored by Mr. Toad's Kebab Shop and Hops Burgers. And now it's time for our exclusive face-to-face interview with Vice Admiral Euphrasia de Lestonnac, representative of the Revolutionary Principality of the Archipelago of Saint-Genevieve. Thank you for your hospitality, ma'am, in inviting me to join you here tonight.
Well, you were very insistent in learning more about our island nation. And as we have nothing to hide before the sight of man or God, I thought it better for you to observe it with your own eyes.
Can you explain for our listeners just how the Revolutionary Principality of the Archipelago of...
It would be easier, I think, for you to call it the Principality, such as we do amongst ourselves.
Yes, thank you. How did the Principality come to be?
Every member of the Principality is a passionate believer in our great French heritage and the Catholic Church. United, we are unstoppable, monsieur. A force to be recognized upon the world stage.
So you were Canadian separatists who took the plunge and formed your own nation?
Oh, we have little in common with the separatists of the mainland. Our island nation is founded upon the principles most pure.
How did the Canadian government respond to your declaration of independence?
At first they laughed, but we were not dismayed, for we had anticipated their ridicule. Such a small island to stand against an entire nation, who would have expected it? But eventually, the province stopped laughing and sent a small armed force to conquer us. We sent the small force back in pieces, monsieur. That is, save for those soldiers who surrendered to us, were treated with God's mercy, and chose to remain secluded within the sanctuary of this sacred island.
Right. And the provincial government?
I have heard that they determined, and I quote, monsieur, "It is better to leave the crazy harpies in peace."
Right. Now, how was it that you were able to defeat a superior force?
They were superior to the Principality only in numbers, not in spirit.
Well, how about in weapons?
I see. You wish now to talk about the airships. That has become your little obsession, has it not, Monsieur Dixon? The airships and maybe the UFOs too?
Well, now, I wouldn't say obsession.
I also heard about the death of Monsieur Stryfer. A gas explosion, did the police say? I do not think so. Such a tactic is common amongst your military, who are all not only godless, but heartless as well.
Wait, do you know something about the death of Mr. Stryfer?
I know nothing. I only ask the same questions that you do.
All right, then, well, since you brought it up, many of these new small independent nations, such as the Principality, appear to have access to highly advanced technology.
Such as the airships.
Such as the airships, yes. Please tell me, do you have such an airship?
Myself? No.
I see.
I refused it.
Excuse me?
I was offered an airship and I refused it. In my opinion, the heavenly realms belong to God and his flying creatures, not to mankind. The Principality has confined itself to an extremely well-equipped navy. That is all.
All right, then, now just who offered you that airship?
Do you know, I would tell you. I would even tell you now, on air, if I thought that you could possibly believe me.
Was it an angel?
You're laughing at me.
Yes, sorry. It's just so...
So far-fetched. Yet you're not so wrong after all. It all depends, I suppose, on how you define an angel. Beings from above, yes.
So you don't have one?
I told you I refused it.
All right, then. What else can you tell me about your unique island?
Do you want to see Henry Penn's airship?
What?
It's only a wreck, but it may interest you. We retrieved it from where it had sunk approximately 1 week ago. It was blocking our passage into the nearby bay.
Yes. Is it near here?
There is nowhere in the Principality that is more than 20 minutes away. Ours is but a small sanctuary within this secular world.
Great. Fantastic. Just a second. Listeners, I will return shortly to bring you a detailed report via our new Signal Max 32C portable radiophone by Isotope. For crisp, clear, cord-free communication, choose Signal Max. Bob, take it to commercial now.
Summer vacation is almost over, so the kids want to squeeze in as much fun as they can before the old school bell rings again. Before they head out to the beach, the barbecue, or the baseball diamond, make sure they're protected with long-lasting Gamma Glow suntan lotion. Gamma Glow is made with real lead and barium sulfate, so the kids can enjoy the sun without absorbing the damaging radiation that leads to sunburn, aplasmic anemia, and hair loss. Just apply the smooth white cream liberally to exposed skin areas and rest assured that they are protected. Gamma Glow is an SPF 80 sunblock that also stops most other forms of particulate and electromagnetic radiation as well. Once the kids are done playing outside, follow your standard decontamination routine before you let them back in. Gamma Glow washes off easily, without the need for iodine soap or costly degaussing wands. But the residual glow can last all night, perfect for sleepovers. Gamma Glow is available in convenient travel-size tubes, perfect for pocket or glove box, or our family size, economical 9-pound tub. Gamma Glow. Get the glow without the burn.
Hello, listeners. This is James Dixon once again, this time reporting from the beach in the Principality. I'm looking at the alleged remains of Henry Penn's airship, and, folks, I just can't properly describe what I'm looking at here. This is a huge piece of equipment. It's got to be at least the size of 3 planes laid end to end. The whole thing is in pretty bad shape, but you can still make out some of the basic construction. I'm seeing no visible sign of wings. The exterior, what's left of it anyway, is smooth and gray. It does appear to be roughly cigar-shaped, although I tell you, this is one big stogie. Now, Vice Admiral Lestonnac has asked me not to approach closer than 10 yards or so I can't see much of the interior, but there are glimpses of control panels, upholstered seats, and what looks like some kind of cargo bay. There are screens in there, bigger than TV screens, and, just now there was a puff of blue. I think it was blue smoke. Apparently some of the systems are still rather unstable, even after being waterlogged for several weeks. That's why I'm not allowed to get closer. Teams of female engineers are working on it now. They're wearing some very advanced type of coveralls. Listeners, you'd really have to be here to comprehend the scale of this technology. If I'd seen it from a distance, I would have thought it was a beached blue whale. As it is, the fact that this is man-made, simply incredible. Well, this does lend support to the stories various reporters and interviewees have offered in the past few weeks. It's also a somewhat disturbing confirmation of Captain Henry Penn's claim of being attacked. Whether he was indeed shot down by our own U.S. Navy is unclear, as there's no way to tell from this wreckage who or what destroyed the airship. Vice Admiral Lestonnac has confirmed Henry Penn's account, however, and claims that her own flagship was also sunk by an American ship. Whether these sources are truly reliable can still be debated. Nevertheless, this all calls for further investigation. Listeners, these are the questions we must ask ourselves. Why are these tiny island nations forming? Who is equipping them with superior technology? What roles does the U.S. government play in financing some nations and attacking others? Is this all some sort of communist plot? A noble stirring of democratic urges? Or the results of political forces beyond our understanding? Many, many questions remain to be answered. As it is, listeners, we are now out of time. I am going to continue my field investigations for PBN and will be on the road. So in the meantime, please enjoy the dulcet tones of my good pal, Jack Mann, and I will rejoin you in the coming week. You've been listening to the PBN Evening News for September 6th, 1953. This is James Dixon wishing you a brighter tomorrow.
Stay tuned for episode 26A of Fission Girl. Fission Girl and Flash have staged a daring rescue of faithful robot maid Marie. But now, Flash is trapped in a dungeon filled with mutant three-headed snakes, and only Marie can save him. Will her strong metal chassis and equally powerful spirit be enough to resist the deadly venom of the vipers? You can help Marie prove her worth by using your decoder ring. Fission Rangers, set your decoder rings and prepare to decipher the top-secret communication from Fission Girl herself. 67, 79, 68, 69, 58. 70, 76, 55. But can faithful Marie haul Flash out of the pit before the venom penetrates her delicate neural e-nets? Find out in episode 26A, Man's Best Friend, after these messages. This edition of the Planetary Broadcast Network was written by Rebecca and Linus Callahan and voiced by Christopher Cundy and Michael Harris on Fiverr.com. The theme music was written by Henry Phillips. The Planetary Broadcast Network is produced by Lost Island Entertainment and is on the web at planetarybroadcastnetwork.com. We thank you for listening.